I've been wanting to be in show business since I was 5 years old. And so God gave me that chance. So I'm gonna take the best of it. And I'm gonna recognize the fact that I didn't start it and I ain't gonna finish it. And it ain't about Smokey Robinson, it's about the music. It's about what people like and what they love, you know. So I think that music is in a good place if you take into account the good music that's being made.
Yeah, and do I miss cricket was the question?
Do you miss cricket?
I should say, I mean, I still stay kind of up to date with what's going on, so I'm familiar with what's going on. I know that the West Indies are taking a flight back. I know, but so yeah, I mean, I don't miss playing it. I mean, the professional game is something completely different, but sometimes I miss challenging myself to see if I can still do it. So if we got a game against the people up here, I'll probably enjoy that.
Oh, it's
But I mean, I enjoy what I do. I think life is about passion, and I was passionate about cricket growing up as a child. I was passionate about music, but it took a backseat to that sporting side of me. And I think that's what life is really about. It's about following your passions. That's what I'm doing right now, which is music. I was blessed to grow up with a dad who, as I said before, was involved in music, so I had that influence my entire life. And I'm right now just following another passion of mine, and I've been doing that for the past 8-9 years, and I've been able to do some great things, and I'm hoping to continue to grow and get better and learn from all of these great artists from up here as well. So it's just to me, I don't miss cricket in terms of playing it, but I was passionate about it then, and I'm passionate about my music.
All right, once again, this is for Mr. Smokey Robinson. I'm a big fan of the 60s music, the Temptations and all those musics from way back. I know the story behind the Temptations and David Ruffin, who was a big fan of mine as well. And I know drugs was in the 60s, a lot of artists died because of drugs. What advice would you have to a lot of these young artists today? Because, you know, back in those days, a lot of great artists died because of drugs. And I know the story when David Ruffin was thrown off of Okay, could you at least give some advice to some of these young artists today?
Well, I disagree with you that drugs was just a thing of the past, or just in the 60s, and they have always been around, and they're always going to be here. And as a person who went through a hell of a drug trip, nobody knows that about me because mine was kind of secret, you know. But for 2 years, I went through it, and I don't see. I speak now. I speak at rehabs and churches and schools and gang meetings and all things like that, you know. And one of the things that I talk about is about drugs. Drugs do not discriminate, man. They don't care who you are or what your life is or what you're doing. Because when I started doing it, it wasn't like started when I was young, you know, and foolish. I was grown. My career was. I couldn't have asked for a better career at that time. But I didn't think I could get hooked. And see, that's a bad mistake. Because drugs don't care who you are or what you're doing or where you are or what your call is or any of that. If you open that door, they're going to come in. So I say, don't open that door. That's what I tell young people. Don't open that door. Don't think that you can be the one who gets by it and says, well, no, it can't get me. Because that's what I thought, you know. But that's a bad mistake. So, and it's always been around. It's always going to be around. And I'm glad that mine happened like 30 years ago. Because they got some stuff now that, you know, it's unbelievable out there. So people have to be extremely careful, young people. You know, I'm looking at the tobacco companies who got these vaping sticks and vaping pipes, and they're selling to kids in elementary school, and it has nicotine in it, you know. They don't care, they're making the money. So, you know, they don't care about your kids and about what they're addicting them to. And drugs are everywhere. And one of the biggest drugs that we have is nicotine. People still do it. It says right on the package, this causes cancer. It will kill you, but people still do it, you know. So I think that everybody should be aware of what they're putting into their bodies, and what they're you know, especially drugs, because they got some new stuff out there now that, you know, it's really, really, really bad. So I recommend to young people, don't even delve in, don't even try it. You know, the hard stuff. You know, there's drugs that or considered drugs. You know, like marijuana. I don't think marijuana is a harmful drug. I don't think
It's a plant.
yeah, I've never heard of it killing anybody or somebody overdosing on it. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody if they consider that a drug, okay, God put that there. If they consider it a drug, then that's what they consider it. But you know, when you get into the pharmaceuticals or these pharmacy companies, they're putting all kinds of stuff in the stuff that they're giving people, the oxycodone and the this and the that and all the pills and stuff that you can get from the doctor. You know, it's really bad. So you have to take charge of yourself. Take charge of yourself. Make sure that you know that you don't want to go off into that road because you might not come back. I was blessed. I was fortunate. I came back, and I haven't had any drugs since May of 1986.
Smokey,
Be careful.
Smokey, I've been doing these press conferences since 1996. And I want to tell you, that's the most powerful testimony I've heard. So
Okay.
the message I take away from it, Smokey says, don't open that door.
Yep.
Well, you know,
True.
I don't shy away from that. I'm trying to pretend like that didn't happen in life. And in fact, there's a part of me that's glad that happened because when I go speak, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, I think that if you do this, this is going to happen. I think that if you do this, this is going to, I know from firsthand experience. I almost lost my life to it, you know. So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not ashamed to pass that information along. And I think that's why God let me come through that, so that I could pass that information along and let people see that you can come through if you give it to Him. You can't give God nothing that He can't take. You know, if some of your best friends or your mama, your daddy, or your sister, your brother could take that off of you for a few days sometime, if you're really hooked on some drug, they would do it because they love you. But they can't do that. You can't give God nothing that He can't take. So I gave it to Him, and I own it back, and I'm not going back to get it. And so I'm not ashamed. I'm supposed to pass that along.
Great.
Tease again from Outer Road. Thank you so much for that message. Very, very powerful. I have a two-part question for you and for LMA. As a person that has been in the business for so long, you've seen the transition. What are the advantages and disadvantages you see from the changeover from music back when you started to now, 2019, where, you know, music is way different now, and also to LMA. You have Jamaican, you know, in your blood. I know you mentioned that earlier. Should we expect any collaboration from any Yard artists, and who is your favorite artist from Yard? I'm putting you on the spot for that one.
Okay, I think that probably the biggest change has been the way music is acquired by people. See, when I came up, people were buying music, and there were record companies that were selling music, you know, and so you were able to make a nice profit from your music. That's not true nowadays. With the advent of the computer and people being able to get the music online and streaming and doing all those things like that, it has crippled the music business. I feel sorry for these young people up here because they missed the era when people were buying music and you could really earn a good living from just selling music, you know. Now, as they say in the showbiz, you better put some asses in those seats because your music is just a promotional tool. And it's just getting you out there so people know that you exist. And it's not the same as it was. But anyway, it's a great life. Like I said earlier, I can't think of anything I'd rather done with my life. It's a beautiful life. But you just have to respect it and know what to expect from it. So it's changed in that light, that people can just get your music and they don't have to really pay for it. And but it's still a great source of recognition for people who love music and who want to be in it. But just be ready for that. Just be ready for the fact that the way you're going to make some money now is to do your concerts and, like I said, put some asses in those seats.
Thank you.
LMA.
Yeah, I would love to. I haven't had the honor yet of working with anyone from Jamaica. But if I could, I love coffee. I know she's super new, but I really think she's amazing, so I would love to work with her. I would also like to work with Beres Hammond. I'm speaking it into existence. You guys
Yeah.
Well, we'll pass on the word. We are in the dying moments. We'll take 2 more questions.
Good morning once more.
Just for speediness, we have your question coming. Val is raising his hand. If we have any others, please raise your hand now so that we know the order. Please do that now, because after we're going to close the stages. Go ahead.
I'm Smokey Robinson. Good morning. My name is Alvin Francis, representing WVIP 93.5 FM radio in New York and also Cablevision Television. I said before you entered the building that St. Kitts is small to many, but there's so many big things happening in St. Kitts. And I took this opportunity to thank you personally, because I'm not here to sell myself, but as the chair of one of the biggest hospitals in New York City, Montefiore Hospital, I kick off a campaign against legalizing marijuana. You have answered so many of my questions that I'm about to face on July 20th. I came to St. Kitts for you to help me to move forward with my campaign, because you have helped me to answer some of the very same questions that I'm faced with. I want to thank you for your testimony to so many lives that you have touched on this platform this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Val Thomas, Sugar City FM. First, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Robinson. You have touched lots of us here tonight, this day, and those who are outside listening. I mean, your testimony this morning is really on top of the world, and I got to give it to you, man. I really feel it. I never do drugs, but I feel it for a lot of folks out there who are listening to you at this moment. Now, my question, my last question is to the chairman, Damian House. A great festival for 2018, 2019. 2020 is on its way. Tonight is the last night for those who have performed on the 23rd Music Festival at Kim Collins Stadium. What is next for the Music Festival Committee and the chairman of this great organization for 2020?
Do I answer that now? Well, Val, let me first start by thanking everyone for being here this morning. What's next is tonight. We got to get to tonight. Just as Val said earlier, the gates open at 5 o'clock this afternoon, so we're trying to get as many people in as possible. We have an excellent venue. I think from all accounts, everyone appreciates the new venue. There was a lot of skepticism at first, but it's a much bigger venue, very breezy, very cool, very relaxing venue. 2020 is the year. I mean, that is a signal year. It's only on 24th, not the 25th, but this year 2020 is going to be a big year. So what I can say to you is, if you think we were big in 2019, we're going to be huge in 2020. But tonight is the night, and we expect to have a fantastic show. We have, you see on the head table, wonderful artists, great headliners anywhere in the world, and we put them all on the same stage this evening. And so come out early and have a fantastic, fantastic close of the 2019 St. Kitts Music Festival.
Now I'm going to ask my colleague Jonel to add some to that.
Well, the pressure is definitely on. I mean, after last year's success, we didn't know what we were going to do, and somehow we pulled this rabbit out of the hat. And I think everybody can agree with me that this year's music festival has by far been the biggest, the most successful boy, this is a lot of pressure for next year. But we continue to engage artists, engage our patrons. I can say now that we have already begun to engage artists for next year's music festival. So look out for early announcements again. And you know, as Damien said, we have to get through tonight first, but expect this St. Kitts Music Festival to grow even bigger next year. I think the government's gonna have to build another stadium because after tonight's crowd, we will outgrow the King Collins Athletic Stadium.
Good morning, again, Nicole Tyson from NT Media Productions out of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and also representing 103.5 FM. This question is for Smokey Robinson. You know, there are artists who have hit songs, but one hit song is overshadows your whole body of work. How have you been able to maintain your popularity and your relevance?
Oh, boy. Well, it's like I said earlier, baby. I have never taken show business for granted. You see, I know that I'm blessed. I know that I get a chance to live a life that I absolutely love, and that's a blessing. And I know also that I didn't start this started a long time before I came along. And I'm not going to finish it. And I know that that's what keeps me going. I know that it's a blessing. I know that it's a gift. It's a gift from God. And I know everybody gets a gift from God. Everybody gets a gift. Some people don't ever find their gift. Some people don't ever know what their gift is. Some people don't even pursue their gift if they do know it. But it's a gift. Everybody gets a gift. So I'm not going to squander my gift. And I'm not going to think it's me, that show business can't do without me or anything like that. I've never felt like that. I always felt like I'm blessed, I'm content, I'm going to sing for these people, I'm going to make these records, and it's what I want to do with my life, so it's a blessing. So I look at it like that. And like I said earlier, you know, Smokey Robinson, that's a sideline to what actually the whole deal is. For me making music and loving music and wanting it to be my life and respecting it. And so that's what I think you have to do.
Thank you. It's my time now. And in taking up my time, I want to use the opportunity to recognize a great musician. He's not on our roster for this year, but I'm sure he's dreaming about next year and other years. And I want to take the opportunity to introduce to the audience and to the media, Mr. Courtney. Maybe you get the last question and then I close.